Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. How you guys doing, huh? You feel good today? Phillies taking series against the Tampa Bay Rays. I did a little abridged post-game show on this very YouTube channel, well, the Farzy Show YouTube channel last night. We'll be back on Jacob Media again tonight after the Phillies maybe sweep the Tampa Bay Rays, huh? Why not get greedy? Let's get greedy. So I did a little bridge post-game show, and I had this feeling, I just had this gut feeling that after they lost the 2-3 to the Nationals, that this Phillies team was going to go into Tampa, and they were going to take it to the best team in the American League, one of the best teams in baseball all season long, in the Tampa Bay Rays, and they were just going to handle their business. Christopher Sanchez is on the hill for the Phillies tonight as the Rays go with another bullpen game as they did last night. And boy, oh boy, if it's any indication, last night's game of what could happen in tonight's game, good Lord, because I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting a lot, especially after you see a lineup like this. You know, it does pain me, and I know the Phillies have been incredible with Kyle Schwarber at the leadoff spot, but Kyle Schwarber last night 0 for 3. The only Phillies starter to not record a hit last night. When you see 5 Phillies starters record multi-hit games in a 17-hit affair for the Philadelphia Phillies last night. But, you know, I'm not going to complain. Today's not a day to complain. Today is not a day to complain about the Phillies lineup in any way, shape, or form. Although I still would like, no matter what, just for Bryson Stott to return a leadoff spot. But whatever, today's not the day for that. They just were on fire last night. Every time they had to answer the call, answer the bell, they had a hit waiting in the top half of the inning in Tampa. Whether that be Trey Turner making 3 misplays on one play, which, you know what, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. When it comes to a game where you score that many runs, you know what, you can afford to be, impressed more so than mad because they made up for it later. And Trey Turner went yard yesterday. Nick Castellanos yesterday hit his 13th home run of the season. For those that have forgotten Nick Castellanos' numbers last year, he has already matched his home run total from a year ago at 13 home runs. He's already matched 83 games into the season. He's already matched it. That's beautiful. And Bryson Stott, we talk about it in other sports where guys look like they've been in the league for 10 years. You know, we talk about a lot with Jalen Hurts, and he runs a team like he's been in the league for, 10, 15-year veteran. The maturity of this guy. The guy we don't talk about enough as far as maturity goes is Bryson Stott, because his maturity is off the charts. You look around what he did last year in the early goings of his Phillies campaign, coming back from the minors, and then in the second half of the season being on fire as much as he was last night at the shortstop position, and what he was doing at the plate, and now what he's doing this year throughout this entire season has been wildly impressive. The at-bats that he's putting together, how he's not afraid to be down in the count 0-2, how he gets multi-hit games left and right nowadays, how he just sits batter's box and he seems like he's ready for anything at any time. The guy just mashes. Absolutely love watching him take ABs. You'll hear from Rob Thompson after the game last night about what he had to say about Bryson Stott and how he attacks the zone, how he can be aggressive, but yes, smart at the same time. And if I got to look at anything with Bryson Stott that's still an Achilles heel for him, it's really hard for him to lay off high fastballs. He loves taking a hack at a high fastball. But really everything else, it's consistency with him. When it comes to pitches just outside the zone, just inside off the plate, just a little bit low. The only Achilles heel he really has is that high fastball. If he can't get over on top of it, then he starts to really struggle. But really what you have seen from him this season has just been the maturity level just absolutely take off. And Rob Thompson did talk about that after the game, about how impressed he is with Bryson Stott in his approach and the way he just goes up there and just takes professional ABs. It's very rare. Last night, I think it was his last at bat of the night, he goes up there and he took a pitch that was right down the middle of the plate, and you could see him swing the bat like in frustration as he stepped out of the batter's box for a second, and you could tell that he's like, I should have put that one in the left center field gap. The way it was off the plate just a little bit. He could have pushed it into the left center field gap, a little bit opposite field action right there. Or maybe he turns around and blasts it out of the park. I don't know. But he knows he should have taken at least a hack at that pitch, and he did not. But he has just been phenomenal to watch all season long. And really, up and down this lineup, guys have been very impressive. And Bryce Harper, I was on him yesterday for the home run drought. We're up to 33 games between home runs for Bryce Harper. I still think for them to sustain the success that they've had, somebody in this lineup is going to go cold, whether that's Nick Castellanos, whether that's Bryson Stott. Maybe JT Realmuto is going to go cold again. He was hot again last night. I mean, look at the production again he gets from JT last night. A 3-hit game from him last night, including an RBI, which was great. He also worked a walk for himself, which is great. But guys are going to get hot. Guys are going to get cold. The power has, with Kyle Schwarber, it's been interesting. It seems to be going by the wayside. Somebody else is going to get cold. They're going to need somebody else to get hot again when it comes to the long ball. If that's Nick Castellanos now, with a couple of home runs over the last week, whether that's Trey Turner, fine, I'll take it. Whether that's Alec Bohm, yeah, let's go. Somebody else is going to get cold. Bryce Harper is going to have to get hot. And the ebbs and flows of a season, that's how it has to work out. I know with Bryce Harper, you look at 33 games between dingers for him. I know he's still finding ways to help you win. I know he's still getting on base. I know he's still driving in runs. And all that's wonderful. But there's going to come a time this season where you're going to have a solid start from Aaron Nola. You're going to have a solid start from Zach Wheeler. You're not going to have a lot of run support. The Phillies are going to need some instant offense. And Bryce Harper is going to be the guy that it's going to be his turn to try to step up and carry this lineup a little bit. And I know that he's done it in the past. We've seen it plenty of times. Kyle Schwarber has done it. Nick Castellanos, Alec Bohm has done it. But when it comes to Bryce Harper, it's going to be his turn sooner or later. And I don't have a lot of confidence in this Phillies team staying where they're at unless you finally see Bryce Harper get hot and be able to see that power once again from him. And I know it takes time. I know it takes a lot of time, but we have seen him just square up baseballs and have that warning track power. I know I say it in jest and I highlight it in jest when you hear a guy like Rob Thompson bring it up time and time again about how it feels like that power for Bryce Harper is just around the corner. I just feel like it's just right there for the taking. And I don't know what he's got to do, if he's got to open his hips up more, if he's got to get a little bit more quickness through the zone. I don't know what it is with him. It could just be the wearing off of the injury, getting used to it, getting the muscles stronger. I don't know. But whatever it is, it feels like it is right there. And maybe a week off for the All-Star break, maybe he comes back and he's rejuvenated. He feels like he hit the reset button a little bit. Feels like he can rest up and get out there and actually show that power again. And maybe he'll be out there in the field at first base. Who knows? But you see him out there and you know it's close. You feel it's close. And if they do get that clicking in the next year and they're already in a playoff spot, then they just carry it the rest of the way. They absolutely carry that the rest of the way. They got one more today against the Rays, and then, of course, they go for a 3-game series against the Miami Marlins. Taijuan Walker last night was not great. Here's the pitching for last night's game. For the people on the podcast, I'm showing the box score of the pitchers. Taijuan Walker. You know how I like to say numbers don't lie, but they sure as heck deceive? Well, this is an example of those numbers deceiving. Taijuan Walker last night, 101 pitches, 7 innings, 4 runs. 4 runs. What? Him and Ranger Suarez, what's going on? That play in the first inning that Trey Turner tried to make, like I said, that was 3 misplays on 1 play. That was Trey Turner trying to swipe to make what would have been a great catch. It would have been a great catch, but still it was there for the catching, and he didn't catch it. And he swiped his glove underneath it, missed it, and then swiped again as it bounced off the turf. And he hit it up in the air, and then it landed in his other hand, and he missed it, and he tried to catch it again, and it dropped, and then he caught it finally. 2 runs scored on this play with 2 outs in the inning. Taijuan Walker should have been out of the inning. He wasn't. 2-run score. Now, maybe if you just say, all right, well, it was going to be a bloop single no matter what, nobody was getting to that baseball. Kyle Schwarber certainly wasn't coming in from left field to make that play. It looked like they had a no-doubles defense in there with the outfielders playing deep. And when you look at that particular play, Schwarber's not making it. The only guy that's got a shot at, Brandon Marsh certainly isn't making it from all the way out in deep center field. Trey Turner's the only one that had a shot. So, yeah, even if you count it as an RBI single, it should not have been a 2-run single. Yet it was. The Phillies did come right back, and they were able to put up some runs on the board. He did get a home run later from Trey Turner to try to make good on the situation. But my point is, in that first inning, Taijaun Walker should not have been in a 2-0 hole to start things off. The Phillies gave their pitchers support last night. Got 10 wins now on the season, this Taijaun Walker, which is great to see. But when you think about that first inning play, it ended up being erased because Taijaun Walker got the win, so it didn't cost him. The Phillies won, obviously, so it doesn't cost them overall, but it's still a play that should have been made, and it affects his ERA because it's not an error. 2 runs still scored on him. But I thought last night was a perfect example of a guy not having his grade A stuff. And at times, it disappeared. There were 2 instances last night where Taijaun Walker walked batters on 4 pitches. It's like the strike zone just disappeared for him, and he couldn't throw a strike. And I thought the home plate umpire last night was good, but there was just instances last night where the accuracy, he just lost it, completely lost the strike zone. And then he had other instances where he battled back. And you look at it one more time from last night, 8 strikeouts in those 7 innings, and some of those strikeouts coming up in huge situations last night for Taijaun Walker. You continue to get great things from him. So I know when you look at the box score, it doesn't look so great. Like I always say, numbers don't lie, but they sure as hell deceive. And I think last night was very deceptive. If you missed the game and you just check the box score, he was better than the box score. I give him a lot more credit for that. I don't know what's going on with this squad on the road. I know there's a lot of things now. You talk about 11 games in a row they've won on the road. Their longest win streak on the road since 1976, which I know you guys have seen a million times by now. But they are just finding a way to make it work on the road. And I don't know if the Phillies go out there and they have this comfort factor away from Citizens Bank Park now. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, considering through the first 2-3 months of the season, they were on fire at home and they were terrible on the road. Whatever finally clicked in, God bless Rob Thompson. He's the guy that I'm going to give credit to for figuring it out on the road, because these guys just look relaxed. They look comfortable. They look like they're always in the ball game. And the fact that they haven't just been beating bad teams on the road here. I mean, okay, I know everyone wants to talk about the Oakland A's. Yeah, they played the Oakland A's, but they also played and took 2 or 3, or should be 3 or 4 from the Arizona Diamondbacks. And now they've taken at least 2 or 3 from the Tampa Bay Rays. That's not supposed to happen. But yet, here we are. It's pretty remarkable. I think that managers are responsible for a lot here. And I know we can look at the more tangible things we can see here, right? The things that it'll line up, and seeing a guy like Kyle Schwarber still bat leadoff, though the on-base percentage is good. It's not great. The batting average certainly is terrible. The home runner bust rate is right there for Kyle Schwarber. But it just seems to work. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? You can't argue when you have results like the Phillies have had. But Rob Thompson just sees this working right now for the Phillies for whatever reason, and he's going to continue to go with it until it doesn't work anymore. Until when they start losing games again, that's when they'll make a lineup change. That's when they'll shake things up again. But if this Phillies team keeps winning, and if this Phillies team stays not just in the playoff hunt, but right now in the playoffs as the season ended today, he's not going to make any changes. Rob Thompson has had a really good feel for this ball club. I know you could say earlier in the season, not so much, but right now he's had a phenomenal feel for his ball club. Whether that's Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot, whether that's figuring it out on the road finally and giving his team enough slack or leeway to figure it out either for themselves, or he said the right thing at the right time, or put the right lineup together at the right time, or gave confidence to the right player at the right time, whatever it was, he's responsible for that overall atmosphere in the clubhouse. And if that atmosphere is tight, if that atmosphere doesn't match the vibe that the players are trying to set, then all things can go awry. And one of the things I go back to when I think about Rob Thompson, and I've certainly had my quarrels with his ways of doing things, he gets results. As a guy who is not an experienced manager in baseball, experienced bench coach, we all know, but a guy who's not an experienced manager in baseball just seems to understand the vibe of the clubhouse. And when Dave Dombrowski removed the interim tag and the Phillies did their end-of-the-year press conference and they talked about Rob Thompson and they made the change earlier in the season, it came up both times when they fired Joe Girardi and they appointed Rob Thompson the interim manager of the squad. He said that you got to be responsible for the overall atmosphere as a manager. And I know everyone wants to talk about, well, this is me now, not Dave Dombrowski, but when you talk about a manager, everyone likes to talk about how they're responsible for 5 wins a year and maybe 10 losses. They try to put a definitive number on it like that. It's a hell of a lot more than that, man. In either direction. You as a manager, you could be clubhouse poison. I know we never talk about it with a manager, but you could be clubhouse poison. Or you could be the antidote. You could be the guy that really helps people figure it out. You could be a guy that just, goes up to Bryson Stott and says, hey, guess what? Hey, the front office and I, we've talked, and you're playing every day, man. Go have at it. Nick Castellanos had talked about that with Dave Dombrowski, about trusting younger guys to go out there and just have success or have failure. Sink or swim. Have at it. Let's see if you got it. Let's see if you can play. And Bryson Stott certainly looks like a guy that can play to me. And they just figure it out. I think Rob Thompson does a phenomenal job of understanding the vibe and setting an atmosphere in the clubhouse. And if it's not there for him to set, then he allows the players that leeway. And he'll ride their coattails. And sometimes that's the way you got to do it. If you're a great manager, or if you want to be a good manager at least, you got to understand what's going on in the house. You got to understand what's going on when it comes to this roster. And I think Rob Thompson's done a wonderful job of that. And seeing this turnaround, on the road, I give a lot of credit to Rob Thompson for it. You look at that 371 winning percentage on the road that the Phillies had. Now you're a plus 500 team. That's one hell of a turnaround. That's one hell of a turnaround for the Philadelphia Phillies and for Rob Thompson. Look, I know the Phillies are on fire. Would you move Bryson Stott back to the top of the leadoff, the top of the order? Because I would, and I know they're not going to do it, but there's something about, I know that the results are hard to argue with, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and all that. But I got to think that you'll have even more of a consistent lineup if you have Bryson Stott at the leadoff spot. I know it's playing with fire. I know you should leave well enough alone and all that, but you don't mess with winning streaks. You don't mess with great runs. But I got to think that I would much rather have Bryson Stott getting reacquainted with the leadoff spot going into the playoffs than I would Kyle Schwarber trying to stay steady at the leadoff spot or have that. I think he could be much more beneficial to this lineup if you do have that big bat with some runners on base somewhere in the middle of this order. Batting fifth, whatever it might be. There's just something about it last night I'm watching. And look, a 4-hit game doesn't really hurt. And a 0-for-6 game certainly does hurt. But there's just something about having that table setter for you that makes me think about what Rob Thompson always says about Kyle Schwarber and why he likes him at the leadoff spot. Oh, it's because it puts pressure on the opposing pitcher. Well, he's got to go to bed at night. No, he's going to face Kyle Schwarber tomorrow. Well, I said this last week, but for me, I think it also puts pressure on someone when you know you're going to be having an 8-pitch at bat against Bryson Stott, and Bryson Stott's going to be standing on first base most likely. That also puts pressure on an opposing pitcher. And knowing that after that, you got to face Trey Turner, and then Nick Castellanos, and then Bryce Harper, and then maybe Kyle Schwarber. I think that'll hurt an opposing pitcher sleep the night before. I know it goes against all that the baseball gods stand for, right? But for me, I just think that there's a better leadoff hitter on this team. And if I don't say, and I also think there's a better 5-hole hitter on this team. And they're in the wrong spots. And Bryson Stott batted 6, for instance. He should be bumped up. I would move Real Muto down, but and I'd also move Alec Bohm up because he's been mashing. It's just one of those things that the Phillies are doing well, so no one's going to mess with it. That doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. I think we have another lineup shake coming, another shake-up to the lineup coming. It's great right now. It's wonderful right now, but I think it's coming. So there you go. Last night after the game, which one is this? I think this is Real Muto. We'll know soon. This is Rob Thompson talking about, I believe this is JT Real Muto and his night last night with 3 hits in the ballgame.
Well, he went through a stretch where his timing was off a little bit. Now I think his timing's on. And he goes through some stretches like that, especially with the leg kick. When you have the leg kick, sometimes you can kind of get your timing gets off. But right now he's swinging about well, and he's making solid contact.
That was JT Real Muto again with his night last night, just being able to get things done for himself there. 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored also. Can't leave that out. And one of the things that I really liked about JT last night is in that second inning, Phillies go into that second inning. They're down 2-0. So bottom of the first inning, you have that play from Trey Turner. 2 runs end up scoring. I mentioned earlier the Phillies came right back. They came right back with 4 straight singles in last night's ballgame. JT got things started. Then Bryson Stott got a hit. Then Alec Boehm got an RBI single. Then Derek Hall stepped to the plate and got himself an RBI single. Next thing you know, bada boom, bada bang, it's 2-2, baby. And the fightings, and they kept on fighting back. Mejia goes up there, and he ends up getting an RBI single in the bottom of the second inning. They go up 3-2, and then JT Real Muto steps up again. He gets an RBI single with 2 outs. It was a 2-out base hits all over the place last night for the Phillies, by the way. That's clutch hitting for you. He ties things up at 3-3. And then at the bottom of the inning, Raley goes up there. He gets the 4-3 lead back for Tampa. And then pretty much after that, the Phillies just took control. And JT Real Muto was a big part of that. Bryson Stott obviously had a huge night for himself, tied his career high with 4 hits in the ballgame. Had some big swings there for the Phillies, batting out of the 6 hole for some ungodly reason, but that's where he was batting out of. And last night, Rob Thompson also talked about Bryson Stott and the maturity level and his approach to the plate.
I think comfort level has a lot to do with it. I think he's fouling off a lot more balls this year. He's making people work and making them come to him, and he's barreling out more balls this year. So he can hit. He really can. And I just hope he keeps it going.
Professional hitter Bryson Stott. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Sanchez gets the start for the Phillies tonight. 6:40 start time again as they go for the Brooms. They reach for the Brooms against the Tampa Bay Rays. They lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals. They lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals. Ladies and gentlemen, let's switch gears now and talk about the 76ers here, okay? Sixers fans, and I mean all Sixers fans, even the casual Sixers fans, because guess what? Even if you're a casual, you're going to be at the parade, right? If there ever is one, you'll be there. There'll be plenty of casuals there. Got to have one first. I really do have a soft spot in my heart for 76ers fans. And I know that most people, I think, are 4 for 4 people. 5 for 5 with the Union, right? Hey, 6 for 6 with the Wings, baby. Philadelphia Wings. I know we're all the same people, all right? When it comes to the Sixers, though, for what they went through, for dedicating themselves, allowing their team, really, to be bad for so long in name of the process, I do have a soft spot. Now, some people can say, well, why a soft spot? You should never dedicate yourself to losing. It creates a horrible culture. And I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I get it. But in the NBA, the way the league is structured, a lot of times you do got to be bad, maybe not god awful for 3 years, but you do got to be bad to get better. And I said, you know what? Yeah, let's throw 3 years at it. I've said this many times. Let Sam Hinkie do his thing for 3 years, and then hopefully the Sixers turn it around. They acquire assets. They completely break it down to build it back up. And I think the Flyers are about to do some variation of that. But Sixers fans, they deserve better first and foremost for the outcomes of every season since the process started. They deserve better than a 10-win season. They deserve better than an 18 and 19-win season. They deserve better than second-round exits. They deserve better than first-round exits. They deserve to beat the Celtics. They deserve better performances from Joel Embiid in clutch situations in the playoffs. They certainly deserved more from Ben Simmons. They certainly deserve more from Markelle Fultz. They deserve better. And right now, they absolutely deserve better this offseason than what they're being dragged through. We're at the point now in the summer where we got to break down all white parties held by former Sixers owners, minority owners. And I had something against Michael Rubin. Have your fun, man. I'm a fan of what you do, bud. Enjoy yourself. All right? But I'm not about to break down photos from a party to give me any insight as to what's going to happen next with the Sixers. I never really thought that Joel Embiid and James Harden were at each other's throats. I never thought the two just absolutely can't play together. I don't need to know. I don't need a picture of them standing next to each other to tell me that they're cool. And I know everyone's, going into this. Heard Ramona Shelburne yesterday on, I think it was NBA Today, talking about how James Harden and Joel Embiid, you don't take pictures with anyone you're not cool with. Sometimes people feel guilty and they do it anyway. I don't care. I don't need Daryl Morey standing in front of a cookie shop talking about casual fans. Don't need that. Especially wearing a T-shirt, if you notice, that said, "It is what it is." I don't need it. And although I had nothing against what Tobias Harris had to say, any acknowledgement of a casual fan to any fan, especially a hardcore fan, it's going to be, well, what am I, a casual fan? I'm a hardcore fan, but I still want you traded. Sixers fans deserve better than what they've been getting from the Sixers this offseason. And look, hey, I'm excited about Patrick Beverley. Thank God for Patrick Beverley. And you know what? I'll give you credit there, Daryl Morey. That's a good signing. That's a good acquisition. I love that Patrick Beverley's here. I love that Patrick Beverley was singing with Rowan there on the Patrick Beverley podcast. Here they come. 10, 9, 8, 76ers, all that. I love that he's talking about how he wants to come here to Philadelphia and he wants to live in Philadelphia. He wants to smell the city. He wants to taste the city. He wants to know the city. Good for you, man. I love it. Patrick Beverley's game, I'm all about it. I saw Doc Rivers came out and said that, it's a great match, and it is a great match. And I was kidding around with you guys yesterday about, P.J. Tucker and Patrick Beverley having an argument over who wants to win more and who wants to play harder, all that. We love that mentality. We want that mentality. And you can have a guy here that can start for you. You can have a guy here that can play, 25 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, 25 minutes. With Patrick Beverley, you have a guy that can shoot a little bit. You have a guy that's just an all-out nasty competitor. Like, let's look at what the Sixers have really told us so far. The Sixers so far this offseason have told you that you were right. I mean, so far, where we're at right now, tangibly, like concrete evidence, it's not reading into anything about who's taking a picture with who at a party in the Hamptons, folks. What you don't have to read into. It's just what they're telling you right now. By signing Patrick Beverley, it's telling you, the Sixers fan, that you were right. This team needed more grit. This team needed more somebody else that wasn't going to accept losing. This team needed another veteran to come in here, other than P.J. Tucker, someone that I think could be more productive than P.J. Tucker, and come in here and say, oh, yeah, losing's not going to be accepted. You want to have a guy like Joel Embiid get tired in the fourth quarter of a playoff game? Not happening. It's not just going to be P.J. Tucker in Joel Embiid's ear anymore. It's going to be Patrick Beverley. And you're going to see him on the court far more than you're going to see him than P.J. Tucker on the court. They told you were right. This team needed more grit. This team needed more tenacity. This team needed more toughness. Joel Embiid's not providing that right now. If James Harden's back, he wasn't providing it. Now you can say, well, what about Mo Bamba? The Sixers went out and they're set to sign the 7-foot center, former 6 overall pick in the 2018 draft. That's the McCall Bridges draft, by the way, folks. Sorry. Zaire Smith as well. So they're bringing him into the fold. Maybe that's the end of Paul Reed. Maybe it's not. I think Paul Reed has done everything this organization has asked of him, and I think he is a better player. Mo Bamba has the bigger upside because of the pick number attached to his name. That's why he's here. Sixers need a backup center. They need another center other than just Paul Reed. You don't want to be going out there in the Dwayne Dedmon sweepstakes again, do you? No, I don't. You don't want to go out there doing the DeAndre Jordan sweepstakes again, do you? I know he just had one hell of a season. I get that. Well, he was on a team that had a hell of a season. Let's not mince words here. So for me, I look at this offseason. The only thing the Sixers have really told us, without reading tea leaves here, is that they needed more grit, they needed more edge, and that's what they got in Patrick Beverley. But everything else, hey, Mo Bamba, yes, fine. Try to address another need there, a backup to the backup center. But when it comes to this Sixers squad or what the Sixers front office is telling you this offseason, I could do without all of it. Because Sixers fans 1,000% deserve better than what they are getting this offseason. This cat and mouse, this bait and switch game that's going on right now with James Harden about whether he's back, whether he's not back, whether he's going to be traded. I heard this yesterday. Who was it that said it? Bobby Marks on ESPN said that James Harden in his contract is one of 14 players, I think it is, in the NBA that has a trade bonus where he gets a 15% bump if he gets traded. So with $35 million, he'll get about a $5 million bonus to get traded. So he'll have a $40 million year if he gets traded. And I don't think they can restructure until after the deal is done. Look, you saw James Harden was opting in, and you thought he was going to get traded. You were sure he was going to get traded. I was sure he was going to get traded. And now it looks like he could very well not be traded. I just find it really hard to believe, and I also find it very, very disheartening that the besties, Morey and Harden, weren't on the same page with each other about where this was going to go. Like, were they that confident that they were going to work out a deal? Like, James Harden knew the situation the Sixers are in, or still in, yeah. When it comes out cash strapped they are. James Harden is also aware of how old he is. Does he really think that he was going to get top dollar from the Sixers? Did he really think he was going to get a max deal from the Sixers? Did he really think he was going to get 4 years and maybe a bargain on the third and fourth year? God, I hope not. And if that's what Daryl Morey was letting him believe, then that's off-putting. Sixers fans deserve better. I told you guys yesterday that if you're looking around the Sixers organization right now and you don't feel like you have any idea what they're doing, you have no idea what's going to come next, well, that's fair because the Sixers themselves have no idea what's coming next. Zero idea what's coming next. And yes, a lot of it depends on James Harden. But if you have the relationship, Daryl Morey, if you have the relationship with James Harden as you are said to have, how do you not have a better feel for this situation? All of it could be speculation. All of it could be reports that are just unfounded, but they've come from pretty credible sources, Adrian Wojnarowski being one of them. For this seesaw battle to go on here, even after Doc Rivers has been fired. It'd be another thing if Doc Rivers was still here. Oh, yeah, I can see why James Harden would have reservations. But now it's just all about money. It's all about contract. And that's fine. That's called business. But to not have a better beat on what the outcome of James Harden opting into his contract was going to be and to have this supposedly great relationship between the two parties of James Harden and Daryl Morey, that just seems weird. So, yes, if you're lost when it comes to trying to follow the Sixers offseason, you're not alone because the Sixers are also lost, with the exception of Patrick Beverley. All right. And Mo Bamba, I'll say that it's at least their heart's in the right place. They need another center along with Paul Reed and Joel Embiid. So cross our fingers there. But when it comes to everything else, the cookie shops, the casual fan comments, trying to read into whatever's going on at the Hamptons, I'm done with it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to read into it because there's nothing to read into. A lot of people were partying. Good for them. Enjoy yourself. One thing about the NBA in general that I just can't wrap my head around. Have you guys seen the story of the in-season tournament? This has come up a lot over the last couple of years, and I still can't make sense of it. The NBA this upcoming season is going to have this in-season tournament played in Las Vegas. The Final Four will be in Las Vegas. Getting this off of ESPN. The Final Four of the NBA's new in-season tournament will take place on December 7th and 9th in Las Vegas. That's according to Adrian Wojnarowski. Statistics will count for the league's regular season except for the championship game. Full details on the competition, including groupings, will be unveiled Saturday night in Las Vegas on ESPN's NBA Today. Commissioner Adam Silver, recent number 1 overall picks. Wait, all 3 of them? All 4 of them? They'll be part of the broadcast. Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, and Victor, I always mess up his name, so please hold. Wembanyama, there you go. And Trae Young will be part of the broadcast. That's just crazy. The in-season tournament will debut for the 2023-2024 season, and details of it were unveiled officially in the league's new collective bargaining agreement that went into effect on Saturday. So basically, all teams are going to be participating in this. There'll be group play. This seems to be the cart. What is it? The cart before the horse? I hate this idea. I hate this idea. It's a long season that you're looking to make the middle part of it mean more so that a longer season seems longer. It seems like after you have this climax, you now have another January, February, March, April, 4 months in the season. This is the... And if you win the mid-season championship, do you have a parade? Teams are benefited, players are benefited $500,000. So I get to watch rich people become more rich. I don't think we hold a parade if you win an in-season tournament. Do you? I don't think I'm going to go to that. Just in time for the holidays. What do we... You know, it's funny. I have a nephew. Brilliant kid. Not kid. Brilliant kid, right? And he's having a little trouble getting into sports. And not... If he doesn't want to get into sports, I'm not forcing him. His father's not forcing him, right? My brother, right? He's not forcing him. His mother is not, right? Nobody is. But he just, during the Eagles Super Bowl run, he was confused. He was like, well, wait a second. Why do we want the Eagles to win? And we're trying to explain, well, we want the Eagles to win because, you know, they represent our city. They represent our community, the Philadelphia area. They represent, you know, our area. And he was just like, but what do we get? He's like, what do we win if they win? And I'm like, that's an excellent question. Civic pride? We get civic pride. We get to know that we watch the best team all year long. We watch the best team in football, and we create memories by watching what these guys do on the field and how we take civic pride out of that, basically. And he's like, yes, but what do we get? And he's a brilliant kid, skips grades and all that stuff. It's brilliant. But, like, I'm in his shoes right now. What do we get? If there's any type of disclaimer in front of championship, is it really a championship? And you guys are in-season champions. I'm sorry, what was that first part? In season. So like we're not even in first place. We win a championship though. But is it the championship? No. It's the in-season championship. But yeah, it's the championship. Well, hold on a second. It's the in-season championship. Yeah. This seems anticlimactic. Cart before the horse. I got to see it play out. Hey, look, I don't like playoff expansion in general in sports, but yet when my team, like the Phillies, for instance, are the last team in, yeah, I'm pretty excited to watch them in the playoffs. Got to admit. The overall idea of playoff expansion, I don't like because the playoffs should mean something. You were part of the elite teams, and making the elite teams less elite by expanding the playoff field, that seems counterproductive. Now, again, I watch my team in the playoffs. I'm still just as excited. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. The built-in play-in game in baseball I thought was the biggest heap of BS but made for TV event. And if my team's in it, I'm watching. I feel like this is the basketball world's version of that. The in-season tournament. Cash grab. That's what comes to mind. Cash grab. And when I did hear Woj talking about it yesterday, or actually earlier this morning, the first thing he pointed out was financial. So, why do this? Well, financial, money. It just seems dumb to me. But yeah, I'll be watching it. Bottom line. But I'd be watching the games anyway. Madonna mia. Anyway, knockout stage games will be single elimination through the final. So yeah, it's a tournament. So there you go. Will you have a one shining moment type of thing at the end? Maybe the one shining moment will be Adam Silver cashing a giant check. Maybe the teams that win $500,000 a piece, maybe it'll be get them cashing their checks. Maybe that'll be it. I will say, you do watch the NBA All-Star game. It's a little bit more competitive with a little bit more money on the line, a little scratch in the game. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, in-season tournament for the NBA. La-de-freaking duh. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. For over 40 years, Steven's been in the love business in Philadelphia, helping people get engaged and fall in love. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, perfect price, online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. You know what? Hold on. Manscaped. Let me tell you about Manscaped. The leader in below-the-waist grooming. Join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and their skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Trust Manscaped. Join 4 million men worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. You'll enjoy their Platinum Package 4.0, which includes their biggest and best hygiene bundle yet. It includes their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer as well as their Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. And yes, they come with skin-safe technology. How about PHL Sports Station? Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. How about the amazing people at Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You'll love their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%. And Super CBD, which is half Hindu. Kush. Ooh, that was a good one. And 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. And they grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State. Locally sourced. So try Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing this fine morning. Started off on the Farzy Show channel. April. Good morning, April. Sean Gillespie, hello. Sean Kilrain, hello. April, I swear, when Schwarber gets to DH, my stress level is going to be cut in half. I mean, we're past time, right? We are absolutely 1 billion gazillion % past time for Kyle Schwarber to be the designated hitter of this baseball team. Now, hopefully, Bryce Harper can just handle the play first base. Or what about an epic plot twist? Maybe Bryce Harper, maybe he goes to right field. Maybe Nick Castellanos goes on over there to left field. Maybe. Doubt it. But maybe. Because if Derek Hall starts to hit and starts to mash, all will be right with the world. Sean Kilrain, hello again. Sean Kilrain, Stotty is playing great. What a great game yesterday for him. He will have a batting title. You watch. Who was just talking about that batting title? Oh, it was Crocker on last night's broadcast. He was talking about how, he sees a batting title in his future. Could be. When you, the thing is, I know some people will jump on the whole, not going deep into counts things, Bryson Stott is not Manny Ramirez. So before I invoke the name Manny Ramirez, let me just say that I'm not comparing the two. But what I am saying is that Manny Ramirez was so great at going deep into counts. He was so great at fouling off pitches until he got that pitch that he really wanted, the best pitch he could possibly ask for, and then that's the pitch he would drive. So great at doing that. Great hitters have that ability to go deep into counts, to know that there's a better pitch that's waiting for him. There's a big mistake the pitcher's going to make eventually. You see more pitches, eventually you're going to see a great pitch. And Bryson Stott, if it goes down in the count 0-2, he's not afraid to do it. He'll foul off some pitches. He's got a great eye to be able to see what pitches, like I said earlier, just off the plate, just inside, maybe a little bit low. He's got a great eye for that. And if they're close, he'll take a hack and foul them away, and he'll go deep in counts. He did a great job of doing it last night. He's waiting for that right pitch to hit. And that's what pissed him off. So I thought that was so telling of him last night when he had that pitch down the middle of the plate and he let it go by, and he knew, even though he wasn't going to go deep into the count at that point if he drove that. I think it was the second pitch of the at-bat. It was a 1-0 count, and he let it just zip right down the middle of the plate. And he just got, that was the one. I got it early this time. And look, he doesn't just go up there and sit. He'll be aggressive if the count calls for it. He'll be aggressive if the moment counts for it. He'll be aggressive if he sees that pitch right out of the gate. But more often than not, he's going to go up there. He's going to be patient. He's going to have a good at-bat. He's going to make the pitch to throw pitches. He's going to drive that pitch count up too. All the while waiting for that perfect pitch that he wants to hit. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's almost like a leadoff hitter, right? Anyway, Sean Kilroy, thank you. Why not? It wouldn't hurt if they try it. There's still more baseball. I'm with you, Farzy. I think that's about moving Stott to the top of the order. Yep, that's what you got to do. Sean Gillespie, what's up, buddy? Lose to the Nationals, but beat the Rays. In the most Philadelphia Phillies thing ever, the Phillies lose to the Nationals 2-3, and then they beat the Rays 3 out of 3. Let's do it. Come on. Sean Kilroy. Maury needs just to stay off Twitter. Hey, by the way, I am on the new, what is that thing called? Threads? I'm on that Threads, John, now, folks. Let me try, I'll throw out a good morning to all these people. All right, man, people are really adapting to this Threads world now. There we go. Threaders? What do I call it? What do I call them on Thread? Good morning, Threaders. There we go. That'll be nice, right? That'll be a nice little thing. Wow, Threads. All right, it's gonna be closer to TikTok. I'm gonna be addicted to it. Morning just needs to stay off. Morning just needs to. There you go. Miyai Sanchez, ring the bell. Everybody hits. Typical Philly sports. Beat good teams. Go on a win streak. But teams in front of us keep on winning. Anybody see the ending to the Cards Marlins game last night? I did not. But I did see. Was it Ellie De La Cruz go out there and? They tried to say that he corked his bat or he messed with his bat, whatever, and he did it. And then he hit a 455-foot home run his next bat, and he held up the bat and pointed to it. It was just like, yeah, I'm pretty good. He is incredible. He is fun to watch, man. I mean, we're blessed. We got some fun guys to watch, but he is electric to watch play baseball. But yeah, how did that one end last night? The Cardinals won that one, right? Didn't the Cardinals actually win? Or am I crazy? Cardinals lost? Damn it! Yeah, there it is. 10-9. Sons of... Gurriel scores from first on the error, the throwing error. That's right. To give the Marlins 10-9 victory over the Cardinals. Son of a gun. Everybody just keeps winning. That's ridiculous. Let's get to the Jacob Media YouTube channel. How you guys doing? Nice to see you. Nothing cooking over there. Let's get to the Morning Rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Hey, speaking of throwing errors, I think my boy's doing okay. I meant to check Facebook while I'm at it, so I'll do that right now. Pete Stendel is a name that you guys might be seeing a lot of in the next couple of days, maybe even right now. Pete is a cameraman for the Yes Network, and Pete got hit in the head last night at the Yankees-Orioles game. And Pete is a cameraman with he was a cameraman with NBC Sunday Night Football, and I've worked with Pete for 11 years. He's one of the best guys you could ever meet. Apparently he's doing okay. He gave the peace sign to the crowd as he went off, which is the most Pete Stendel thing ever. But he took a bad hit last night. He was in the camera well. He'll also be a roaming camera on the field at times. But Pete's just like one of the best guys you could ever meet. And I see a lot of people are posting on his page, on his Facebook page, get better and all that stuff. But he's a great guy. There's an errant throw in the Orioles-Yankees game that got to him in the camera well. It hit him. They brought the stretcher out. They took him off the field. The game was delayed 15 minutes, and they put him on the cart, and they drove him off. And as they're driving him off, he gives the peace symbol, and everyone starts going nuts in the stadium. And knowing Pete, not that he wants to be in that moment ever, but if he's going to be in that moment, to hear that probably really moved him. He's a very emotional guy and one of my favorite people that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. So I just wish him a speedy recovery from last night. So hopefully, he's up and running back at the ballpark before he knows it. Phillies will be back at it tonight against Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what's up there, Jacob Media? SSG Bass or Base, I don't know. We'll catch the Cardinals, the Marlins. There you go. Yeah, we'll catch the Marlins. That's what you want to do. But yeah, Phillies and Rays at it tonight again. Phillies go for their 12th win in a row on the road. Christopher Sanchez charged with that start tonight, and it will, yes, be another bullpen game for the Tampa Bay Rays. Phillies certainly had success with that last night. 6:40 start time tonight. Sean Armstrong will open things up for the Tampa Bay Rays. Armstrong, 1.15 ERA on the season, the 32-year-old right-handed pitcher. He's appeared in 12 games this season. 15 and then 2/3 innings of work, allowing just 2 earned runs over that stretch. He has 15 strikeouts in those 15 and 2/3 innings. He has opened up a couple of games this season. He has allowed 1 earned run in 4 innings over his last 2 openers. So there you go. As for the Phillies, Christopher Sanchez will get that start tonight. Look forward to seeing what the lefty will be able to do for the Phils. So far in the season, 0-2 on the year with a 3.26 ERA. Christopher Sanchez coming off a solid start, great start against the Washington Nationals in a game that the Phillies just couldn't rally to get him run support. He went 6 innings, allowing 1 run. It was a home run. 2 runs, 1 earned run. It was a home run. And before that, he went 5 innings, allowing 3 runs against the New York Mets. So hopefully the Phillies can get some run support behind him. Hopefully this lineup stays hot for Christopher Sanchez and gets him a W. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit subscribe. Go and give me a follow on Threads. Appreciate you guys. Be back with you guys tomorrow. Actually, be back with you guys on the Jacob Media YouTube channel tonight for Phillies postgame, and then back with you guys again tomorrow morning for the Farzy show. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday. See you. Bye.